Welcome to part 4 of my series on photography packages pricing for profit. This video will talk specifically about wedding photography packages. In the last video, I talked more generally about photography packages. So if you're in a different genre, you might look at that video. If you're a wedding photographer, there's a lot of strategy around what we can do to build effective packages that maximize our profits. It's important that you go back and watch the previous video though, because we talk about first needing to know what our profits are, what our profits mean. Basically, our profits is what's left after our cost of doing business and our cost of goods. And our profits is what can turn into our take-home income, which then we need to know our cost of living in order to know how much money we need to be able to pay ourselves. In order to be sustainable, we have to make enough money in our business in order to pay ourselves enough to run the rest of our life, whatever that looks like. If you're younger and newer to the business, maybe your requirements for your profits aren't as high now, but eventually you want them to be, because otherwise, as I like to say, photography is a passion, whereas profitable photography is a profession that we're passionate about. And so we want to make sure we're making enough money that we can actually consider ourselves professional photographers. So in my first video, I talked about the importance of effective package structure. And this is very true for wedding photographers, so make sure you've watched all the videos, but we want to draw our clients in and attract them to us by our packages without competing on price. Rather, we want to compete on value. So if I am standing in a room full of wedding photographers, I'm likely not the least expensive photographer, but I want to be the most obvious choice for the right clients based on things other than price, and how I structure my packages has something to do with that. And so in the second video, I talked about how we need to understand our clients so that we can build packages that serve them, because serving our clients well will serve us well. If we can keep our clients happy, not only are they willing to pay more, but they're willing to tell all their friends to hire us as well. And then they might even buy more stuff after the fact. And it's a win-win, because I'm not just trying to get as much money from my clients as possible, but I'm trying to serve them so that they happily are giving me money in exchange for the goods and services that I am giving them. I want everybody to be happy, at least that's my philosophy. I want people to be excited to hire me, excited to pay me their hard-earned money, because it's my hard-earned money as well. So when it comes to understanding wedding photography clients and what they need, you need to put yourself in the shoes of your couples. And so maybe you've been married before, maybe you haven't, but either way, if you were hiring a wedding photographer for your wedding, what would you want? And then thinking about you as a photographer, what do you offer? And so it might not be the same thing. You might not be your ideal client, but you can at least use putting yourself in their shoes as a way to help you figure out what they want. So some of our couples specifically are looking for a husband and wife team, and we're a husband and wife team. So we really make sure to play that up in our packages, because a lot of couples want 2 photographers. They want one with the groom and one with the bride. They want multiple angles covered, and they want that dynamic duo that they get when they get a husband and wife team. And so we're able to offer that in our packages. I also love offering an album in all of my wedding photography packages. I talked about that in one of the previous videos, where the album is really the tangible take-home thing that they get that completes the whole experience. So I can be there snapping photos all day, and I did my job of taking photos, but until they have something that they can look at and remember the wedding day and remember how they felt, I don't really feel like my job's complete. Whereas when they have that album, they have a tangible thing and it completes their experience. Now they not only have the memories of the great wedding day experience, but they have the proof. And that's something that we can provide to them. Everybody wants digital images. So if we're not on board with digital images, we need to get on board with digital images. but you can play with how you deliver them. So some people deliver a thumb drive. I've really grown to love using an online viewing gallery where they can buy prints as well. So even though they have access to download the images because they bought that in their package, if I make it easy for them to order prints or even thank you cards directly from their online viewing gallery, then now I'm making additional profit from that. They send their viewing gallery to aunts and uncles and grandmas, and those people order prints, and we make it easy, and it has an auto send them a coupon. And so those are great ways to add to your profits without taking away from the client experience. The client thinks they want the digital image collection, but you know that they actually want real prints. They actually want tangible products hanging on their wall so that they can walk by them and see them every day. And so as a photographer, you can build your packages to encourage them to have something that they don't even know that they want. So there's different strategies for building wedding photography packages and how to help your clients choose what they want. The interesting thing is more and more, I feel like couples think they know exactly what they want, and they'll come to us and they'll say, I want this many hours and I want this. And they want customized packages. They want something that's unique to them because their wedding is unique. And so I try to make our packages customizable and flexible within reason so that my clients feel like they're getting exactly what they want. In reality, I kind of know exactly what they want, and so I have sample packages that show them exactly what they want, but then I also let them build their own package. And so you can choose your own strategy for how you're going to convince couples what they actually want or help them, guide them towards the right package. But the one thing you don't want to do is have too many options that they get overwhelmed, or a whole bunch of extra fluff that they don't actually need or want, or such minimalist offerings that you're not serving them and that they don't get anything after the fact. Unless you're really good at sales after the wedding day, and then you could probably make more money once they see their photos and fall in love with them, then you sell them more things after the fact. I feel like one thing that I notice when I look at other people's packages is a lot of people limit themselves by not having a luxury package that seems unrealistic. If you give everything away in your standard package, then there's no reason for anybody to ever spend more money. And when you're trying to build a profitable packages, you want to have an average, which means you're going to let some people spend less and some people spend more. But if you don't give those options to have them spend more or less, then you don't have as much flexibility in what you can offer and the breadth of clients that you can serve. So one of the keys with your wedding photography packages is to make sure that you have incentives to book a bigger package. I'm going to give you a handful of strategies to help you decide how you want to build your packages, and each photographer will have different preferences on which strategies that they want to use. So some photographers will have their inquiry form where they like to figure out what somebody's budget is, and then they can use that budget to present package options within the budget of the potential customer. You can present a package that fits their budget as well as one that stretches it a little bit but has value that maybe inspires that person to splurge. So if you can gather the budget of your potential client, then you can build a package that maximizes that budget, if not stretches it a little bit. Another great strategy is to make sure that you're selling the aspects of your photography that are unique to you, that don't necessarily even seem like they're ingredients in a package. So if you, for example, do a really fast turnaround time on the photos, that's something that you should either list in the package or explain as you're selling the packages, because that's a value added to the package. Or if you do a day of slideshow, or if you have some unique bonus. When a client looks at your packages and compares it to somebody else's, they're not necessarily comparing the same thing, because maybe you're offering an engagement shoot in your package and another photographer isn't, or you do a 2-week turnaround time and the other photographer doesn't, or you're a husband and wife photography team like we are. That's 2 full-time photographers versus some other photographers offer a second shooter, but that second shooter might be a different photographer every week for that person that they're just hiring who has less experience. And it doesn't mean that that doesn't have value, but I always try to make it clear to our clients that they're getting Mark and Brenda Bergreen for their wedding, and that that has more value than a primary photographer that hires a second shooter that may or may not have the level of experience that we have. I also think it's a great strategy to make sure that the deal for moving from the small package to the medium package or the medium package to the big package is such a good deal that it almost makes it hard to resist. So, hey, if you upgrade to this package, you get so much more that it's almost worth it to stretch your budget. And as a photographer, those extra hours that I'm working or that extra product that I'm including should still result in profits for me. But if I can get more profits from one individual client, that's one less client I have to book later. The clients you have are your greatest potential for more profits, because that's easier to take a client you have and upgrade them from this package to this package is easier than trying to find a whole new client and get them on board with any of the packages. If you're just starting out, you might have simple packages that are at a low entry-level price point, and that's okay, but eventually you want to maximize profits from each wedding that you're shooting. As I mentioned before, we're trying to compete on value, not price. Unless you have a bunch of affiliate photographers that work for you and you're sending them off to different photo shoots, as an individual, you can only shoot so many weddings. You only have so many hours in the day. And so you need to make sure that you're maximizing your hourly rate. So that's another thing to think about. We talked about your cost of doing business and we talked about your cost of goods, but we didn't talk about the cost of your time. So if you think about that profitability that turns into your take-home income, and then you divide that by how many hours you work, you'll want to know if you're actually making a good living in this career and profession that you've chosen for yourself. And if you are shooting 8,000 photo shoots in order to make that income, then that might not be sustainable. So you want to figure out how to make more money by working less hours or finding less clients or finding ways to increase profits without increasing effort. Thanks for being here. That includes my series on photography, packaging, pricing for profit. I hope you made it through all 4 videos and found some valuable information that will help you build a sustainable business. The main things I want you to remember are that in order to build profitable packages, you need to know your cost of doing business. You need to know your cost of living. You need to take some time and sit down and get comfy with your accounting and get friendly with your budget so that you have real numbers and real facts when you're setting your photography packages. It seems like so often we focus on comparing ourselves to other photographers' websites that we pull up and we see what they're charging and, oh my gosh, how are they charging that? Or how are they making a living charging that? It feels like we always are thinking somebody else is making way more money than us, or how could they possibly eat at the prices that they're charging? And there's those 2 extremes that make us feel like we don't know what we're doing. But if we have concrete numbers in front of us, then we can build packages that will be sustainable for our business, help us pay our mortgages, help us send our kids to ballet class or whatever it is that they're doing. Another takeaway for you is to remember when you're building your packages to serve your clients. So we're not just building packages by putting in fluff so that we can get more money from our clients. Instead, we're finding ways to add value, because serving our clients well will serve us well. And then the last thing to remember is that if we build effective packages, they should not only attract our clients because the clients see value in those packages, but the packages should be structured such that it makes it easy for somebody to book because they know exactly what they want and because it's all right there in that package. And if not, and if they want to splurge, it's all right there in that package. And it makes it easy for them to book because there's not so many choices that they're overwhelmed. And then those packages, the way that we've designed them, help us have a profitable business. Because again, without profits, photography is just a passion. But a profitable photography business is a profession that we can be passionate about.